Hello and welcome back to the Debrief here on the Blood Red channel. I'm your host, Edward Kay, and I'm joined by Theo Squires from Anfield, where Liverpool have just been hammered 5-2 by Real Madrid in the first leg of the Champions League round of 16 tie. Theo, just happy for the final whistle to go in the end?
Yeah, I'd say so. You probably at this point wish that they don't have to go to Madrid for a second leg because you'd expect another humbling. Liverpool, by all means, could go to Spain and score a few goals, but you can't see them winning by 3 to get extra time penalties or winning by 4 at the same time. It's a strange one because they started so well for 14 minutes. It was bliss for 20 minutes. They were on top, and they were probably unfortunate to go in level at the break. But then Real Madrid just showed what Real Madrid are all about. They always find a way, and they weren't phased at all by being 2-0 down. We've seen so many teams crumble at Anfield in the past, and Real Madrid weren't one of them. 5-2 flatters them a little bit, but then Liverpool offered very little in that second half, and they're the ones going home with a famous victory. It will be a massive surprise, a massive shock if Liverpool find a way to get through to the quarterfinals now. All you can do is hope it doesn't impact the Premier League form too much. That they can say, well, we played well in parts, hopefully not get any bad injuries or anything, and then just focus on getting into the top 4. So with a refreshed squad in the summer, you dip into the transfer market, you revamp it, you can go again and make sure that results like this don't happen again. But this isn't elite Real Madrid side by any means. You look at the squad, it's got aging players as well, and it's got young players who are like trying to come to that next level. Like Liverpool, they're in transition, but they always find a way to get to that next level. That's what we've seen tonight.
Yeah, Real Madrid clearly just that step above Liverpool, and we've seen sort of a bit of a resurgence over the last 2 games. Obviously, the wins and clean sheets over Everton and Newcastle. But do you think Real Madrid were just a step too far for a Liverpool team that are still healing?
It's a strange one because if you look at the stats, they pretty much had the same number of shots. Real Madrid had one more shot on target. Possessions pretty much level as well. So if you look at it on that sense, they both played even games. It's just that Real Madrid turned it up that notch and they pounced on Liverpool's mistakes. They suffocated them. Joe Gomez crumbled. I think we see Courtois make an absolute howler to give Liverpool their second goal. And if anything, Real Madrid, that makes them stronger. Liverpool make a mistake for Real Madrid's equaliser and they just fall apart. There's probably one where Nacho coming on for Alaba, that changed the game as well because Liverpool were having so much fun down that right-hand side, getting in behind Alaba, getting that space in behind the defence and creating chances. As soon as he comes off and Nacho comes on, they're a bit more defensive, they're a bit tighter to Salah, and as the game wears on, they just box Liverpool out, putting players behind the ball, and they can hang it on. And Liverpool, they push forward, they try and get chances, they leave gaps at the back, they make mistakes, and Real Madrid punish them. Like, how many of these goals we've seen tonight were their own making? Like, first one, great finish, fair enough from Vinicius. The second one, well, Gomez kicks the back pass into the ground, Alisson hesitates too long, and then boots it straight into the player. We've seen him make a couple of mistakes like that this season. It's not the first time. Basetic, he loses it, trying to do too much in midfield for one of the goals. That was probably the second, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that was the second one. I'm losing track here. There was so many. The third one, they don't pick up the man from the free kick. It's just far too easy. Fourth one is horrid deflection off Joe Gomez, but it's again too easy. Benzema playing that 1-2, getting around Fabinho. And then the fifth one, how has Modric got the pace to get away from Fabinho, to get away from Basetic? And then it's just they cut him open, playing it to Vinicius, playing it to Benzema. He rounds the keeper. All these goals are Liverpool's own undoing. And when you're 2-0 up, 14 minutes, you're thinking this can be like the Man City games or the Barcelona game or the Roma game. Liverpool and Anfield at its absolute finest. Real Madrid were not phased. Real Madrid found a way. There's that famous Gary Lineker saying that football is a simple game. 22 men play, kick a ball around for 90 minutes, and at the end of the day, the Germans all the win. I reckon we should probably revise that and make it at the end of the day, Real Madrid always win.
Yeah, in the Champions League, that does certainly seem to be the case. But you mentioned Joe Gomez. He's not getting too favourable the time in the comments section at the moment as
I
well.
can imagine.
Yeah, he had an absolute shocker of a second half. Obviously, he ended up getting brought off. How much is that going to undo his confidence that he would have been taking from 2 clean sheets on the bounce in the Premier League?
Well, he might have come off injured. I'm sure Jurgen Klopp's going to confirm either way in the press conference now. But when he came off, he went straight down the tunnel and he was clutching his hamstring. But then I put that on Twitter, and then my mentions are saying, "Oh, that's just embarrassment. That's him trying to protect himself." But no, you wouldn't do that. It was a hard one for him to take because he has looked really good for the last couple of games, and he is a strong partnership he's had with Virgil van Dijk at times. But Joe Gomez does have this in his locker. When he's bad, he is atrocious. When he makes one mistake, it leads to two, and his confidence just can fall apart, and people can carve him open. It's a really hard one for him to take, but it's something that we've seen a few times in the past now. It's where the Liverpool can pick him up and build him up into the player deserving of that long-term contract they gave him in the summer, or if it is just a level above him now. He has had so many injuries in the past. When they gave him his new contract, they said they still believed his best days are ahead of him, that he is one of the best English centre-backs around. He made a point of saying he is still younger than Virgil van Dijk was when he joined Liverpool. But he can't make these mistakes as often as he is doing on these big occasions. You can't be sublime against a Man City or Everton and Newcastle one week and then hit rock bottom again. There needs to be some more consistency there. And he's had more game time this year, so it's not as though he's rusty. It's a hard one for him to take. For his sake, I hope he's not badly injured, because if he's injured, he's not getting back in that starting 11 for a while, because if it's a hamstring, by the time he's back, Konate's back. By the time he's back, you've still got Matip there as well, maybe Nat Phillips. We know he's talented. He's just got these awful nights in his locker, and it happens to have come tonight on this big stage, and it's cost Liverpool. But he was not the only one at fault for some of these goals. Alisson won't be too happy about a couple of them. As I said, Basetic got sprinted away from too easily for one. Fabinho was carved open too easily for one. Van Dijk standing off them. They can all look at themselves. It's a team failing today. That they win as a team, they lose as a team. There's not going to be anyone in that Liverpool dressing room who's throwing Joe Gomez under the bus. It isn't just one individual who's cost them, despite what social media might tell you.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Jurgen Klopp has to say about Joe Gomez in that press conference. We'll bring that to you on the channel when we have it. But conceding 5 goals at Anfield, I mean, it's bad enough at any time. But in a Champions League round of 16 first leg against a team like Real Madrid, having to go to the Bernabeu for that second leg, do you think it's tie over?
Yes, I think it's tie over. I know when they went to Barcelona and lost 3-0 at Camp Nou, Klopp said, if it was any other team, I'd say it was over, but it's you, so I believe you've got a chance. But that was second leg at Anfield, and that was a Liverpool team at the peak of its powers. It's a very different story when you have that humbling at home in front of your crowd. I mean, Anfield was electric for that first half. Going to the Bernabeu, where we've seen them make so many comebacks against the odds last year. You just can't see it, can you? Like Real Madrid were dead and buried against Man City's, PSG, Chelsea last year, and they just found a way to get victories in the Bernabeu. They're not going to need something like that against Liverpool. They can just sit back and defend, and it's in the bag. Liverpool have to score 3 just to force extra time. They have to score 4 to win. And while at the best offensively, they can do that. Nunes can cause trouble. Salah can cause trouble. This defence at the moment doesn't look like it can keep that clean sheet against Real Madrid. Like Vinicius was superb tonight. Trent didn't defend badly, but he was getting behind him so often, and he's just an informed player on the top of his game. And they have got so many talented players who can just find a way. And we're still thinking, well, they're still missing a few, aren't they? Cruz only was a late arrival into the squad. Tchouameni's not there. It's a very strong Real Madrid team who are reigning champions of Europe for a reason. Now reigning world champions too. Going to the Bernabeu and expecting Liverpool to score 4. That's surely even Liverpool. That's beyond them.
Yeah, you mentioned that Trent and Vinicius Junior showdown. It was one that was getting a lot of hype before the game. Vinicius Junior ended up with 2 goals, but none of them really down to anything with Trent. So it wasn't really the showdown everyone was expecting, but he's haunting Liverpool again, Vinicius Junior, and they just don't really seem to have a way of dealing with him, do they, Theo?
No, that's 5 goals from 4 games against Liverpool for him now. A brace at Real Madrid's training ground, a brace here, and then the winner in that final. this man for the big occasion. He is Real Madrid's star man, and I know there'd have been a lot of hype and talk about Benzema over the past 18 months, but it's just as much from Vinicius Junior, and that's why Real Madrid look after him so much. Like, we know the abuse he gets in Spain, and it is vile. There is no excuse for it. That's why I suppose it's a credit that, as you'd expect, nothing like that from Liverpool fans tonight. They're never going to abuse him like that. You boo him when he's on the ball, the same as they booed every other Real Madrid player when they're on the ball. But this is just a world-class player who has scored a winner against them in the Champions League final who can cause damage. There's those rumours that he's not happy in Spain as a result of all this abuse. He might move on. I know Liverpool got a Diaz, a Gakpo and a Jota, but you certainly wouldn't mind him at Anfield if he became available on the market. Realistically, that's not going to happen. But yeah, Liverpool must be sick of the sight of him. And you just hope that Carlo Ancelotti's a bit complacent for the return leg and says, you know what, we're 3 goals up. We don't need to start you. You can sit on the bench. But yeah, we'll see. He's a great player and he's haunted Liverpool again.
Yeah, I'd absolutely love to have him at Anfield. But I suppose the main thing we've got to do now is look forward. And do you think this will halt the Reds' momentum in the Premier League going into that Palace game on Saturday?
I'd like to say no. I don't think so. Like, it's a big victory against Newcastle. It was a big victory against Everton. And on the stats-wise, they did match Real Madrid. They did create chances. And yeah, it was a poor second half. And when it was game over, it got worse. But there's no reason why they can't just carry on and put it behind them in the Premier League, because these are the Champions League nights that they want. If they're going to let this crack the confidence again, they're not going to have the Champions League nights next season. They need to use it as a way to, right, this has happened this year. We don't want to experience this again, but we actually want to be in the competition to prove a point next year. We probably run out of opportunities to say next time will be our time against Real Madrid, because they've just helped the better of Liverpool too many times now. But we've seen them win Champions Leagues. And they need to be at that biggest stage. And the biggest sides, they find a way to bounce back, as Real Madrid did tonight. They were 2-0 down and they didn't let it faze them. They found a way to win the game. Fair play to them. Now, Liverpool, out of Champions League, they've got to use that to inspire them to actually get back into it next year, starting with Crystal Palace on Saturday.
Yeah, Real Madrid just showing their class tonight, showing they were just a level above Liverpool at Anfield. But that is all we're going to have time for on the debrief tonight. So, Theo, thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you next time.